Welcome to the weekend. It is a Friday here on Winning Begins at Home, and we are talking about our morning routines. And that might be kind of scary for us as we go into the weekend here, because I know some of you are probably wanting to sleep in and all that kind of stuff. We're going to unpack that idea today. How can you honor both rest and intention on weekend mornings when they're a little bit different than weekday mornings? And I think there's some really cool stuff about the weekend that I think sometimes we forget just how special it is to have a weekend, to have some rest, to have time to recharge before we go into a new week, a new work week. We don't talk about work here a lot, but obviously we say if you win at work and you lose at home, you still lose. Well, the weekend really is about being at home for a lot of people. And so I want us to think about our morning routines. What does it look like on the weekend? And I think there's maybe some differences, but maybe there needs to be more of the same versus less of the same. You know, I think sometimes we're like, well, I'm just going to totally do what I want to on the weekend. And that might be a mistake. So there's some research out that shows that people who maintain more consistent sleep schedules tend to have better moods, better energy, more cognitive function. I mean, your brain's going to be healthier if you do that throughout the week, and that includes the weekend. And so how do we keep that principle in mind, or that reality in mind, and yet still have some kind of break on the weekend when we think about it? I think there's some studies that show that if you completely abandon all your structure on your weekends, it'll actually increase your anxiety and when Monday arrives. And so that's not really what we want here. We want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. And I'm just going to give you a couple things to think about here. I think there's a difference between structure and what I'll call rigidity. I think structure is really good. I think it's good to have a routine, some habits, some things that you're going to continue to do. But I think we can approach those a little bit differently on a Saturday or a Sunday, if that's what your weekly schedule. I mean, I know some people work on Saturday and Sunday, and you have other days of the week off, so these principles would still apply. But I want to just remind you that sleeping in might not be serving you. You're actually, your brain is it's better when your circadian rhythm. You can look all this up, but if we just sleep in all day, we end up in a fog. And I mean, it's a lot of unproductive things are happening there physically. It's not really good. And so I just would encourage you to create what we'll call weekend rhythms rather than routines. I think there's a difference. Routines are, I got to be at work at this time of day, and it's just all buttoned up. And yet on the weekend, you do have more freedom. And so you need some rhythms there. You don't need, there's some principles that you want to be embedded in your behavior day after day after day, but you don't have to be in such a hurry on those weekend days. And I love, there's nothing like a Saturday morning to, it's kind of a little more laid back, or a Sunday morning. We're typically, we'll go to church, but we've got a little bit of time before that. And I get to decide what I want to do. This past week, I remember on Sunday, I actually went for a walk. It was really cool. It wasn't cool, actually. It was hot, but it was fun to just get out and walk for a few minutes through the neighborhood. And it was so quiet. There was nobody out there, no traffic, nobody's going to work. It was pretty peaceful. And so that was good for me. And so you get to decide what you want to do. I would just say there's the idea here of some slower mornings versus, think about your work week. As so many times, especially if you've got little kids and you're trying to get them to school now that the school year's back in, if we're not careful, we can just be in a hurry from the time we wake up till it feels like we fall into bed at night. And I'm not sure that busyness is the goal. We say all the time that people have this tendency to confuse activity with accomplishment. And I think being busy on a weekend day, that's really not my goal. And so I hope it's not yours as well. I love these, especially on the weekend. If you have a family, I love family friendly morning practices 1 or 2 days a week. Now, again, if you're going to church together, that would be a morning routine that you would have on a Sunday probably. But what do you do on Saturday? And is there something that you do to protect your own little rhythm that's going on, but something maybe as a family that you can do? I know when the girls were here, we would always, not always, but we loved a lot of Saturdays. We would make pancakes, and that was fun. And it was just something that we all look forward to week after week after week. And so You get to decide what those rhythms are in your family, but I would encourage you to have some of those morning practices as a group. I think that can be fun. You might go for an outing. I know one family, they go to the park on Saturday, and I know other families they go to the library. I mean, you get to decide what you do. Sometimes you got kids that are playing sports. You'll go to the ballpark together, and so it's just a chance to go have some fun together. But I think if we get that right, then it's a little easier to transition back into the work week. I say that. I know we all love the weekends and we wish every day could be a weekend. We actually don't wish that. We know we need to do productive stuff. We need to have we need to have a something that we're called to. Was what I would encourage you to think through. Like, what's your passion, and how can you go make the world better through that? And I think if you get that right, it can be powerful Monday through Friday. But those weekends, that recharge time, that recreation time, I guess that really is what recreation is, right? We just get recreated. We get to go back into the fray, so to speak, and we're just at a better place. The tank has been filled back up, so to speak. So let me give you a little action step for the weekend here. I would say, if you can, wake up within 30 minutes of your normal time. I mean, let's don't get everything all whacked out here when it comes to the rhythms of the way our body works. But let's wake up within 30 minutes of your weekday routine. But here's an interesting concept. Why don't you slow down? Why don't you slow down and try to do everything at half the speed of what you normally do? I mean, you really have permission for it to be laid back, to just chill. So let's slow down everything by 50%. And if you're normally rushing through your routine, take twice as long. I mean, if you're normally spending 15 minutes on your exercise and you stretching, spend a half hour. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's great. I love the freedom of a weekend. It can be so life-giving, really. And maybe not just take twice as long, add in some fun stuff, fun breakfast together. Maybe you try the pancake thing. Maybe you make waffles together. We used to do that sometimes too. But add some kind of element that would just be purely for fun. I mean, I think this is where the life comes in. Add some music to your Saturday morning. Add some time outside. I mean, to me, when we get outside, it's just such a good thing for your mindset, your emotions. And so all kind of things you can do there. You get to decide what that is. But your weekend mornings are your chance to remember that winning at home isn't just about productivity. It really is not. That's not what we're talking about here at all. It's about creating the life that you don't need to escape from. That's what we want. We want to make sure that we're creating the life that we want. And I think your morning routine can be a powerful part of that. So that's this week. We've been talking about morning routines. We have this operating system mindset for our life. How would we think about it? And again, we're not some robot checklist here. That's really not been the spirit of this week. It's how do we create habits and rhythms in our life that are going to help us have the life that we want. I think that can be such a transformational idea for some of us if we've just been flying by the seat of our pants and not really giving a lot of thought to it. I hope you really will have a great weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're heading into the fall here. It's going to be some fun opportunities here for you to do some good stuff with your family and friends. And remember, as always, winning begins at home.